Chud327, and I'm starting a new project, a tiny house. Floor is down. I went ahead and framed up all the walls. Thought I went and bought some materials. This should be enough to dry the project in. (24.5 inches). And then I'm going to put a plumb line with my level here. Then I'll put a nail at the top, go down, do the same process down there. Then I'll run a string from this end to that end, mark them. So with my bubble showing level, I've got my mark. Take my speed square and I'll make that mark across the top. I'll put a nail here that'll hold my string. And here's my nail. I'm using my chalk box for my string. Let's go down to the other end. Okay, down the other end I've measured, I've plumbed, I've put my nail. This is my string. I'll pull my string tight. Okay, our plumb lines have been marked. I'll go grab the saw and we'll lop those babies off. When putting OSB on the roof by yourself, it's important to pick a very windy day. I've got that, and I've also got two. There's a clamp here and a clamp there. They're going to hold the OSB once I get it up on the roof. Let's get it up on the roof. Stretch out first. All right, we're ready. Okay, sheet 1 is up. We're going to move over to sheet 2. I've got my 2 clamps. It also helps, I've got my mower trailer holding the plywood up on one side and a 55-gallon drum holding it up on the other side. It's halfway up by the time you get it there. Working into the night again, and you can barely see it. But I've got most of one side done. One little piece, and this side is ready for some felt and then ready for some tin. Here is a daytime look. I've got one strip of felt on. I think I'll get up and rip that tarp off and put the rest of the felt on. And then maybe this weekend I can have some tin to put up there. I've got the windows covered up with felt, keeping the rain out. In case it wants to rain, I've got felt blockers. And I also located this glass. I'm thinking of making a little window. And this is a glass block window for the 2 gable ends. You know, just let a little light in upstairs. $12 and $5. When putting the eave strip on the actual eave side of the house, I like to try to flatten it out a little bit to make it more match the pitch of the roof. On the gable end, 90 degrees is fine, but on a 12-12 pitch, it kind of needs a little CPR done to it without kinking it. That opens it up just a little bit, makes it a little easier to put on. I start with a couple nails to help me hold up the piece. The piece is 10 foot long and it's just me. So that's my helpers holding it up for me. Right where that girl is, we're going to form up for a glass block window. That's right now. And now the scrap from this piece with just a little bit of trimming fits here. Here we go. Oh, that's pretty cute. There's that window at a distance. And this is the glass block window from the inside. Well, now the felt has been put on. Up next, tin time. I'm pre-drilling the holes before the tin even goes up on the roof. That's my $4 yard sale drill again. Pre-drilled all my holes and I've put one hole beside each major ridge. Down at the bottom I put extra holes. What I think I'll do now is spread out 6 sheets of tin on the trailer and measure it. Should be 18 feet. Now when you're putting your tin on, this big flap goes down first and you lap over with the little flap. So an 18-foot long roof won't fit on a 16-foot trailer. Okay, so that roof is 222 inches. The tin is 218 inches. By the time we add the gable trim, that adds 2 inches to each end. So 218 plus 2 plus 2, that's 222. This tin might work out just right for that roof. Last night got the tin stuck up on this baby. Now we've got to do the gable trim and the ridge cap. That's today. The way I started my tin, I measured over 2 inches, put in 2 nails, one at the top and the bottom, then I butted the tin up to those 2 nails. When you get all the way to the other end, since my roof is 222 inches, you wind up with that same 2 inches, just enough for the gable trim. This time we're using the camper as a scaffolding. We're putting on the gable trim. It's also good to have a good windy day when you're working with trim by yourself. This trim I have flushed with the tin. I've got it clamped. And I came up here to the top, to the peak. I made a mark here. This is where the other one was cut off. I'm going to cut this one here. This is a plumb line. I'll cut that straight. Now this top part does not have to be perfect because the ridge cap's going to go over top of it anyway. This is working off the top of the camper like a scaffolding. Where we are now is putting on the ridge cap. Underneath I've got some foam blockers, sealers. You put that in, you put the screws back down, you just go all the way down, you got it done.